know that they have children that are 4 years old at this point, not a problem. I'm like, no, I'm not getting kicked out again. No. No. So anybody that you know that is 4 years old, the kids, tell the parents to give us a call. If they don't know what BPK is, we can go ahead and explain to them how the program works, why is such a success, when the kids finish the BPK. So we can guide them through in how to apply and everything. At the same time, the other scholarships that we do have, the school readiness to pay for a portion of the childcare for parents. We have ongoing what we call open enrollment. So technically we have no wait list. The parents can apply and we can guide them in what are the requirements, what they need to apply, how they can apply, either, online on their own, or they can come to the hub. We can make them an appointment, any way that they want to do it. And basically, the wait list is just a few days because we cannot send all the kids at the same time. So we can, have batches going on every week. So every week we are constantly sending. So we can empty that wait list. That's why I say technically we don't have any wait list, but it's just a few days that the parents will have to submit, we review, and then we send an invite to them. Other than that, that's it on my part. Thank you so much. And if any questions or anything, please feel free to give us a call into the coalition.
Thank you, Maria. Next on my list, Alexei Perez. Hey, Alexei.
Hello, everybody. My name is Alexei Perez. I live in South Florida in Broward County. I'm the administrative coordinator for the Autism Society of Florida, and I'm also a recent Partners in Policymaking graduate, which is what I'm here in support of today. I am the mother of 5 children. My daughter, who is about to turn 20 years old, was born with Down syndrome and dual diagnosed with autism, and she's awesome. And yeah, I'm just grateful to be here today to learn and meet all of you and to speak a little bit about my experience.
Thanks, Alexei. Amber Lott, you're up next.
Good afternoon. Sorry, a little bit of a technical difficulty getting my mute button to get unstuck. My name is Amber Lott. I'm with the Coalition for Independent Living Options. I'm the director of our FAA funded programs, which includes our learning and education advocacy department that Darlene will probably speak a little bit more in depth about at some point. So I'm just here to kind of see what everybody has to offer and see how we might be able to coordinate services.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Ben Schechter.
Hey everyone, good to be here. I'm Ben. I work with Prosper Health. We're a new therapy practice that's focused specifically on autistic adults. We accept commercial insurance and provide telehealth throughout the state of Florida. So if you know anybody who's in need of mental health support, working through social relationship issues, dealing with autistic burnout, or any anxiety or depression overlaid with autism, that's what we specialize in. And really also just excited to hear more about all the work that you all are doing and learn more.
Great. I know there's waiting lists for those services, Ben. So if you could put your website in the chat along with your contact info, that would be great.
Yeah, will do. We can fit people in within a week or two. So
awesome. Next up, Darlene Foster.
Hi, everyone. It's good to see you guys again this month. I'm Darlene Foster. Carrie, you did an awesome job. I just have to tell you, because I would have freaked out. So she always handles stress very, very easily. So
on the outside.
It's okay. That's where it belongs. I'm just saying, don't let it get to you, right? So I have to commend her for that one. But also, as Amber stated, I am back with Silo. Been back for a while, and we do have a new LEAP program going on that Amber spoke about, and it's like a case management advocacy program for kids that are on autism spectrum. Every disability that for APD, cerebral palsy, autism, intellectual disability, cerebral palsy, Prader-Willi, all of those kind of criteria are the ones that would qualify for this LEAP program. Of course, Silo does do advocacy overall in general, but today we're really focusing in on the LEAP program. We do housing, we do victim of crimes, we do all of that stuff, 211. financial food stamp assistance. Silo does the whole thing. Again, I am a mom of 4 children, 2 boys with autism, as many of you know, probably Joshua the most. And then, of course, you have the other 2 that has the ADD, ADHD, and Ashley. So my hats, I have both when we come to participate and come together. We've started this program for many years, and I've been back, a heartbeat. So I'm really, really happy to see that it's still going on. As a parent, Joshua's now 29 years old. This service is still needed as it was back then. So anything that we can do to help, we're here at Silo. We're really looking for those students that have the intellectual or the autism diagnosis or anything that you think we can help. We are needing this program. I do not want to see this program get sunsetted, as Brandy is often saying. So we do need some more numbers. We do need some students. So anytime you can, I'll put our information in the chat, or unless Amber, if you've already put it in the chat, that would be great. So we're here. Thank you.
Thanks, Darlene.
You're welcome. Good to see you, Carrie.
You too. Destiny Rawls.
Hi, everybody. Destiny Rawls, education advocacy attorney at Legal Aid. We mostly help students with disabilities, all types and levels of disabilities. So we can definitely put our information in there. We also help some students who don't have disabilities, who have like discipline issues, things like that, or registration issues. So that is basically what we do.
Thanks, Destiny. Elizabeth Clark. Elizabeth, would you like to introduce yourself? If not, you can go ahead and put your info in the chat. All right, Eric, you're up. Hey, Eric.
Hi, everyone. Eric Freilich. I'm a supervisor with the Disability Services and Ticket to Work program at CareerSource Palm Beach County. We help individuals who are receiving SSI and/or disability find work, get training, with the long-term goal of working their way off of those benefits. And thanks for having me.
Thanks, Eric. Erica-san.
Hi, I'm Erica San. I'm also an attorney at Legal Aid and Education Project. And like Destiny said, we help kids get services in school and access to education.
Awesome. Thanks, Erica. Maria Gutierrez.
Hello, everybody. I'm Maria Gutierrez, Early Learning Coalition, Palm Beach County. I am the Early Intervention and Inclusion Manager here. We're working with the school readiness children to doing all the assessment, the screening, and pass to try to support the teacher in the classrooms for inclusion. Also, I want to invite everybody. We're going to have the conference, annual conference in May 6th. It's open for parents and for teachers, providers, teachers, the preschools. We're going to have very good presenters in there, keynote, and a lot of information and resource for the families. If you are interested to be part of the support sponsor or present or have any table, you can contact us, Melissa, I'm going to put the information because we have a lot of information and tips with the families and the providers in there. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Maria.
Maria, can I have your contact information, yours specifically?
Yes, I'm going to put in the chat. Thank you.
Hey, Millery. Millery, you're up next.
Hi, Carrie. Sorry about that. I'm having computer issues. Let me see if my camera is working because it wasn't working this morning. Can you see me?
Nope.
Oh, geez, it's still not working.
We'll just picture a beautiful smiling face. It's okay.
Thank you. My name is Milo, and I'm with the Agency for Persons with Disabilities. I'm the community liaison. Yes, I was having issues. I put my contact information on the chat box for you guys. We serve kids from 3 years old until life. So please tell people to apply for the Medicaid waiver, especially the transition, the young adult who are transitioning from high school to life, so we can help them with services in the community. Thank you.
Thanks, Millery. Natalie Eno. Hey, Natalie. Your sound. I know, I think we had that before.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Hey, all right. I got a new computer. It's still acting up. And I'm in the office today, which is something new because we're finding out we have a new office that doesn't have great internet. So that's great. Anyways, hi everyone. I'm Natalie. I am the Family Resource Specialist with the Treasure Coast Early Steps program. And I am the designated parent on staff. So I do my best to help families in the early birth to 3 stages with getting some support and some resources in the beginning of their journey.
Awesome. Thank you, Natalie. Rachel Baker-Blackwell.
Hi, how are you all? My name is Rachel Baker-Blackwell, and I work for the Department of Health, Children's Medical Service, Title V. And under Title V, we have 3 initiatives, and they are patient-centered medical home, behavioral health, and transition. And because we are public health, you know what happens, it starts out big, and the hope is that those services will move into families' homes. So for example, like with transition, we do a lot of work out in the community. We may have a table here and there, we get calls, and we provide transition information. A lot of it comes from a lot of you. And there are specific information that is provided by the Department of Health, where they can actually go to the website. And again, it will lead to a lot of your information as well as things that are connected with the Department of Health. The same with behavioral health. We are working with a lot of the universities in the state of Florida to support a lot of the pediatricians in their behavioral health hubs. And also with patient-centered medical home, helping the pediatricians in the area become patient-centered medical homes and go through that lengthy, expensive process in order to provide increased services to families. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you all so much. I think I got everybody. And you all can put, someone new, Elizabeth.
Oh, that happened last time. Okay.
Are you able to introduce yourself?
Yes. For some reason, it shows up as Elizabeth, but I'm Amanda Stone from HomeSafe.
Oh, you're in her account.
Yeah, that's really weird.
Okay.
Okay.
Amanda Stone.
Yes. So I'm the Chief Program Officer here at HomeSafe. And we do the screening and referring for children birth to 5. So this is my 2nd meeting, and I'm just glad to be a part of it. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. All right. I'm glad you spoke up. Thank you, Amanda. All right. So now we have 2 presentations. So we have Tracy and Stacey, and I'll introduce each of them as they are presenting. So first up is Tracy. So Tracy's the Membership Director of Nonprofits First, and she's going to explain to us how nonprofit organizations can utilize her organization to access resources, tools, solutions that will help us all as nonprofits effectively increase our effectiveness, our efficiency, and our impact on the community. So she's got lots of tools to share with us. And Tracy, you can go ahead and you can share your screen and take it away.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. And I'm going to talk fast in the interest of time, since I know there were technical difficulties today. It seems to be the pervasive theme for all of us today. But before I introduce myself as Nonprofits First, after listening to all of you all, I was very touched. And I just wanted to introduce myself as myself. It looks like Elizabeth is now really joining us. Anyway, I am so enamored of what you all do, and those of you who are parents, you know, taking care of children who are so amazing in so many different ways. I'm in ministry, so I love hearing this, and I did want to make a note, and Carrie, I'll mention to you, some of the churches now do have programs that specialize in buddy programs for folks with special special needs and some other programs. So just something, and I'll reach out to Carrie more about that to see if maybe I can connect you to some of those. So just love what y'all are doing. And I'm glad to have a sort of sense of, you know, the different organizations here today. Some of you are our members, so hello and welcome. And some of you are not, so I'm glad to tell you a little bit about us. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. I do want to make sure that you all can see it. So once I do that, if you could just confirm that you see an introduction slide, I think we're good.
Looks good.
So cool. So anyway, as Carrie said, you know, we're here to support nonprofits. We are a nonprofit that supports nonprofits. And we do it through membership and accreditation and different services and programs that we make available to both members and non-members. So today, as I'm speaking, I do want to make you aware that not everything has to do with being a member. There are things that we do based on certain times, you know, sometimes we're funded for certain things that we have to make available to the public, and other times it's stuff that we are able to make available to our members. But I wanted to just give you a quick glance at our small, lean fighting machine team at Nonprofits First. So Jessica Cecere is our CEO. She's been entrenched in the nonprofit community for quite some time. And we do have a finance director and accounting department. We have our accreditation program that's headed up by Trudy Crowitz with her team. And then, of course, I do membership, and Marilyn Bieber does our education programs. And we do have a new director of development and marketing joining us in a couple of weeks. That announcement will come out once that's being made known, but we're really excited. So, but like I said, we are small but mighty, as many of you are. So we were established in 2005 to really empower nonprofit excellence and to create a community where all of you can achieve your highest level of impact. And we know that not everybody's goal is to be big, but we are all looking to be sustainable. And so sustainability is certainly a primary focus as well, and operational soundness. So I'm sorry, I should have just done these as static slides. It would have made it a lot easier, but real quick, these are just some of our programs. We started out as an accreditation organization in 2005 by funders who wanted to have a program in place that basically, with the seal of approval, made them feel confident in granting funds and grants to different organizations who had the Nonprofits First accreditation designation. But when Jessica came aboard about 8 years ago, she felt like there was more we could be doing to help you all. And one of those is to develop people, you know, not just strong organizations, but strong people who are working in and leading these organizations so that you all, again, can do what you do more effectively. So we do have education and professional development. We have leadership development programs. We also have management support services in a few different areas. The financial management is a big one. And I'll talk about some of these others in just a minute, but I just wanted to give you a quick overview. And then those of you who have either been Hats Off Award nominees, or perhaps recipients, or just attended for a beautiful night of celebration, celebrating our nonprofit community here in Palm Beach County, and all the work that you all do, and all of those that you help, and the quality of life that you bring. We are actually the organizers of that event, and that is our annual tribute and celebration to the nonprofit sector. So these are some of, again, oops, sorry, went too far. Leave it to me. So like I said, we do have classes, we do roundtables, we do workshops. This morning, in fact, we had a pretty high power panel discussion at Kaiser University having to do with some sensitive subjects for organizations that we don't like to talk about but need to address, you know, schemes, fraud, things like that. So we do a lot of things, you know, out in the public to make that available to as many people as possible in larger spaces.
We also provide management and consulting services through our affiliate program. We have about 110 affiliate members who are businesses and consultants that specialize in the nonprofit space and in supporting nonprofits. A lot of that has to do with grants and grant writing, marketing, digital space, human resources, accounting. There's a whole list of categories that our affiliates are able to support nonprofits with. And when you are members, you actually get preferred pricing and rates, which is a nice perk. Our leadership development programs, Rising Leaders and Advancing Leaders. We have networking events that are open only to members. We have one coming up in April at Loggerhead Marine Life Center. So for those of you who are members, please join us. And for those of you who might want to become members, please plan on coming. They're always amazing events. And this time we're actually doing a little bit of a reveal. It's a super secret, something that we're going to reveal in April, which is going to be exciting for nonprofits first. We also have a nonprofit job posting board. Y'all are welcome to copy down that website there. It's for job seekers, but also job posters. And it's tied into an applicant pro tracking system. And anybody can use that. But again, members are able to use that at a greatly reduced cost. We do member spotlights each month to tell other members and our affiliates about what you all do and the work that you do. That's a lot of fun for us to be able to do. And it goes out on social media, it goes on our website, it goes out in our e-blasts. And so we do social media features and promotion as well. We have a member message board because we think that communication and collaboration is key. And so this is a way for y'all to tell each other what's going on, or maybe you're doing a call for volunteers, or you have a big event, and it's a great place to splash it. And then we have a pro toolkit, which is for organizations that maybe want to make sure they're on the right path. And so it's sort of like a self-assessment tool that you have access to in support services for up to 12 months to really look at your organization to make sure that you are sound in different areas. We also have a state-of-the-art meeting space in our offices that we make available to members up to 3 times a year at no charge, but there is a maximum of 15 people seated comfortably, and you can actually do up to 20. Our website, for anyone who's interested, you don't have to be a member, but if you do visit our website, which is nonprofitsfirst.org, under this education tab is where you can see all of these upcoming events and programs. And again, many of these are open to nonprofits who don't belong to our organization. Sometimes there's a fee involved in certain workshops. And so typically there's going to be a member fee versus a non-member fee, and those are all very transparent. You can see everything, but you're welcome to click on that education tab, and underneath it would be upcoming events. And like, this is just some of the stuff that is coming up. You know, we have a fundraising self-paced learning program. This is the one from this morning, Schemers, Fraud, and Exploitation of Pandemic Funding. We are a foundation directory center, which I'll talk about in a minute. And so y'all are welcome to come into our office. You just need to make a reservation to use the foundation directory if you want to investigate grants that may be available. And then we do a lot of stuff on board governance and board development. Our CEO actually holds those monthly, and she does roundtables and answers questions. And the thing about belonging to Nonprofits First is not only, you know, it's the organization that belongs. So as many employees and board members and even committed volunteers who would like to belong under that membership are able to do so. So it's really nice. So everybody can, you know, take advantage of the resources that apply to you. We do certain things for our members. We have once a year a Meet the Funders panel, which is really outstanding because it talks to you all about what are funders looking for? You know, what are the things that are going to make a difference when it's you against, you know, dozens or hundreds or sometimes even thousands of other agencies looking for funding. And so we bring them together once a year to really talk turkey. And I'm really looking forward. We're going to have one this summer coming up. And then we also do twice a year our member open house and workshops, which is where it's virtual right now, because we have found that it makes it, obviously more accessible for more people. But we do a 3-day sort of, I call it speed dating, but it's 3 days of workshops on every subject imaginable, but the ones that you all tell us are most important to you. And so Marilyn does an amazing job of putting that together. And so usually they do about 3 a day over 3 days, and they're really top notch. And the people we bring in to present are often actually affiliates, believe it or not, because they are subject matter experts. And sometimes they're from outside, but always just really, really credible people who aren't just talking the talk, but really know what they're talking about. So the other thing is, I mentioned our member networking events. Our last one was held with the Palm Beach Symphony, and they did a short performance with a violinist and showed us a presentation and all the work they're doing with students in the schools, and things that people don't know about them. So we just love when we can let other organizations showcase the work that they're doing, because we're not always aware. And I can't tell you how many people walked out of that particular event and said, I had no idea, including myself when I first found out. So it's really exciting, and it's such a good time to rub shoulders with other people and with our affiliates as well. There's a lot of good things that come out of these, what I call connections. We also provide nonprofit management and consulting. These are some of the categories for our affiliate consultants that I mentioned earlier. Anybody can go on our website and look up by category here. So if you need some help with your books, accounting, CPAs, you pull that up. Or if you want someone to help you with fundraising development or grant writing, you can click on those and it's going to bring up all their information for you. So again, here's the website, but you can also just go to our website, nonprofitsfirst.org, and you can get to any of this through the site. We have an online learning platform, which is phenomenal. It's called MindEdge. And they have right now about 25 courses specific to nonprofit management. And they also have certification programs. They also have CEU programs. And so while you have the nonprofit management piece of it, you also have access to all their other courses. And the nice thing about it is they are fee-based. But when you're a member of Nonprofits First, you get 20% off the registration amount for any and all courses that you take. So it's really just a great thing. And like I said, their programming is outstanding, and their nonprofit management program is actually one that is being used now in a number of universities and colleges. So check it out. Again, you can just get there through our website and just look under education and you'll find the online learning.
And real quick on that too, I just want to say that, we're all people, we're all individuals, we're all professionals. And so the nice thing is, learning shouldn't be limited just to what you do. In my opinion, as a lifelong learner and a corporate trainer in my former life, and I'm also a leadership trainer and speaker on the side as well. I think that when we look at our personal growth and development, as well as professional growth and development, that should always be a combination. And so when you look at MindEdge, there's so many different ways you can go with that to help you personally, professionally. Recently, we just started a 3-part public speaking series in conjunction with the Junior League of Boca, because that's something that a lot of people just aren't comfortable doing. But in any role, whether you're a parent, at a school meeting, or, whether you're standing in front of an audience of 300 people, telling them your story, the art of storytelling, public speaking is a really important skill. And so that's what I wanted to also mention about the soft skills, not just stuff specific to nonprofits. So we have a financial management network where we do periodic roundtable discussions and presentations. These are just some of the topics that were discussed at the most recent one. So if you have any folks in your finance area that would like to take advantage of some of the programming available to them, please do. We also have programming for CEOs specifically. So that's all in there. We provide financial solutions as well, fee-based. Our own staff does this. So these are just some of the specialized services that we do. So if anybody needs help in any of these areas, I'm happy to connect you to our finance director, Delphine Spooner. On our website, when you look under About Us and it shows you all those avatars for each of us, you can always just click on any of those and email them directly. As I mentioned, we are a site for the Foundation Center where you can come in and use a designated computer that we have. So we have the online directory available. We even have a brief video that was done by one of our affiliates to kind of teach people some tips and tricks to use when you're, looking for grants and exploring and trying to learn not just what's out there, but who won them and why. So this is a great place to do it. So you can come and do that. We just ask that you call or email me to make a reservation. We offer up to 2 hours at a time. So again, just something that's for anybody. You don't have to be a member. Anybody can come and do that. I will also make you aware, if you want to let your development people know, that some of the public libraries now have it available as well. So grants is always a big thing. So we have different resources to help with grant writing, with understanding and finding grants. And again, our affiliates who are consultants that actually specialize in doing both. Our leadership programs, Rising Leaders and Advancing Leaders. These are actually just incredible programs. Rising Leaders is for people who are moving into management positions in the nonprofit sector, whereas Advancing Leaders are for those who are going to be moving into the C-suite. They're both several months long. They meet once a month, and then they have cohorts and they have projects and things like that. Really, really interesting. But you can find out more on our website under Rising Leaders and Advancing Leaders. We also do CEO circles, which are mastermind groups. They are led currently by Karen Hilo, who is the CEO of C-Level Consulting. They're actually about to start up a new one. So if you, any of your CEOs, are that kind of person where you think they might like to be part of a collective like that, certainly mention this to them. And we also have a new affiliate who's going to be doing a lot of thought leadership and mastermind groups as well. So our 501 C-Pro Toolkit, as I mentioned earlier, it's an online self-assessment, but it has such amazing components to it. Some of them are listed here, the administrative standards, they have templates, legal requirements, and it talks about best practices, and they have just recently made a library available with sample manuals for human resources. And a couple other topics. So this is fee-based. Again, there's a fee for members versus non-members, and you have up to 12 months for using it and getting support services from our accreditation team. It is a wise investment. And then I mentioned earlier the job board. Again, you can look for jobs here or you can post jobs here. And if it's something you'd like to know more about, just give us a call. As I said, it's open to members and non-members for postings. It's just a difference in the price. And then I mentioned also that member message board where people can post. This is what it looks like. So it's on our website. It's next to our news and events. And it's pretty prominent. It's a great place, like I said, to tell everybody what's going on. And then last but not least, our Hats Off Award, as I mentioned earlier. So hats off is just truly, if you've never been, I went to my first one last October and not a single person walked out of that facility without a smile on their face and such lovely things to say. Like, all I can call it is just celebratory. It is just such a high, passionate, just wonderful evening of just, being able to acknowledge and recognize, what everybody's out there doing. And the food's not bad either, and the bar is open. So for those of you, if that's your thing, that's included too. Our next one's going to be October 3rd. So we're probably going to be at the Kravis again. So anyway, check that out and kind of stay tuned. And if you know any organizations or agencies that you'd like to nominate, nominations will be opening soon. So definitely check back on our website for that.
I spoke as fast as I could to try and give you a quick overview to keep the time and respect your time. But if you all have any questions or anything, I did put my contact information in the chat room, so it's there. And Carrie, if there's any way, maybe you can save the chat later and send it to me. I would really appreciate that. That would be great. And again, those of you who are members, I don't know if we have a couple minutes for questions or if anyone who's interested in knowing more about membership, if there's time, I'm happy to answer them. If we're crunched, then you can just reach out to me. I'll leave that up to Carrie.
Yeah, let's take questions. I have a question.
Sure.
Do you have a eligibility criteria for members or services? Do they have to be within Palm Beach County? Do you serve nonprofits outside of the county?
That's a great question. So the answer is our membership is primarily comprised of agencies who serve clients in Palm Beach County. However, we don't preclude agencies who don't because of our professional development programs. So that's something that anybody in any agency anywhere can benefit from. And since so much of it is virtual, we do have some organizations who are from out of the area and out of state, some of whom actually do provide services in Palm Beach County, and some who don't. But it is primarily for agencies that are operating in or serving clients in Palm Beach County. To be a nonprofit member, you do need to have a 501c3 designation. We do have a couple of, ministries that are sometimes C4, but regardless, you have to have the designation. If you're just getting started or know someone who's just getting started, we have resources for them, but we don't sign them up as members until they're actually an established 501c3. And then for affiliates, they are not nonprofits. They are typically service providers and consultants who have different services that they offer for nonprofits.
Any other questions?
Well, thank you all so much for your time. And those of you who are members, I really hope to see you in April 27th at Loggerhead. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be overlooking the patient pools. And for those of you who might want to, either reach out about membership or talk to someone in your organization about it, just have them reach out to me. Like I said, my contact information's here. And I'm hoping I can attend next month and really learn more about each of you as I listen and see where, we might be able to just help one another and connect. So thank you guys so much. I do have to jump off today. I had a personal emergency. So thank you for your time. And Carrie, thank you so much for having me. And Stacey, I will reach out to you separately too, so we can connect. I'm sorry, I'm going to miss your presentation. You all have a wonderful day.
Thanks, Tracy. We'll be in touch.
Thanks. Take care, everybody.
All right. So we're going to shift gears a little bit. So Stacey Hoaglund is going to present next. So she's an educational advocate and statewide coordinator of FDDC. So the Florida Developmental Disability Council's Partners in Policymaking program. So she's going to give you information about what that program is and her role in supporting transition and advocacy all throughout the state. Thanks so much for joining us, Stacey.
I'm glad to be here. Thank you for having me. I'm really excited to see that this group continues SNAC, because I was part of the original SNAC group in Broward, along with Dr. Herm Fishbein, who was really the impetus for the development of the program. He pushed a little bit for the Children's Services Council to kind of put their money where their mouth was, kind of thing, and to bring together different agencies. And I know for a while there, we would have 30 to 40 different agencies represented each month. I mean, it was like that room, because that was way before COVID. So we would all be squeezed in that room, like layered back from the main table. So I'm always very happy to see that those types of efforts continue. I wish we had one in every county, because I think it's highly beneficial. So I hope that you guys kind of have opportunities to brainstorm together, because I know that committee made many changes in improving the lives of children and adults with disabilities in Broward County. So I live in Broward. But so in Broward, I wear a couple hats. So I have been an educational advocate with Family Network on Disabilities of Broward for 23 years. And so I am extremely fortunate to work there. We are funded by Broward County government. So with that hat, we only service Broward County. We are not affiliated or associated with FND of the state. Two totally different things. We provide direct advocacy. We go to IEP meetings where FND of the state, they tend to do more parent training, and that type of outreach where we are more one person at a time with that. And I'm also the president of the Autism Society of Florida. And so I think I'm going into my 8th year running the Florida Partners in Policymaking program. And if you don't know anything about it, hopefully by the time I get through with my presentation, you will be like, oh my goodness. If you go on, it was really nice. One of the graduates, because I posted just a video this morning, just like a 2-minute thing of me talking a little bit about it on Facebook. And one of the graduates from this year commented and said something like, because I put in there something like, it'll change your life. And so her comment was, that's an understatement. And so many people, and we're going to hear from Alexa in a second, many people who have come through the program, including myself. I'm a graduate from 2006. And, when I went through the program, I had already been advocating, for at least 6 years. And I thought, please, I know all this stuff. What are they really going to teach me? And a lot. There's a lot, but it is not. So if you're working with families who need IEP training, that's not what it is. It's a much larger scale. So Rights Law does really great stuff with IEP training, COPA. So if you just need that type of advocacy training, those two organizations are wonderful for that. But Partners in Policymaking is much larger than that. We focus on systems change. So let me pull up my thing. Okay, I got too much stuff going on here on my screen. All right, that looks funky, right? That didn't come out right. Oh, let's see. I don't know why that's.
Yeah, if you want to go into slideshow mode.
I know, but it just okay. Stop. Wait. Ugh. Yeah. Let's
There you are.
All right. So this is just a photo of us in Tallahassee. So that is sort of the culmination of the program. So they learn lots of skills. I'm going to talk about those in a second. And then they get to go use those skills, which we did just last week in Tallahassee for Developmental Disabilities Day. All right. So, you guys probably already know this because you are professionals in the field, but, Tallahassee is going to make decisions. They make decisions every year. And we try to stress in the program that if you're not part of it, then we're part of the problem. And I'm sure that you guys can relate to this. And I tell the class this each year for the last couple of years. Just in my interaction with families of young children, particularly with disabilities, they think that advocacy is posting something negative on social media. That is not advocacy and it's not effective. Policymakers, including school board members, county commissioners, state legislature, the president sitting in the White House, they don't care what you put on social media. Nobody's paying attention. It's irrelevant to them because there's so much negativity on social media. So it basically has just washed itself out. So we stress to the class, you have to show up. And that is what a lot of the training is about. Because if you don't, they're still going to make decisions, but then your input isn't going to be part of it. So, you get to elect your legislators. And sometimes, we have to let our legislators know, or any of our policymakers, that they actually work for us. I attended years ago, my kids were in, one was in middle school, one was in high school. And my younger son has autism. And they were gonna, I live in Cooper City, so they were gonna shift Cooper City kids to the Hollywood, a middle school in Hollywood. And if you don't know much about Cooper City, one of the best things that we have are our schools. That's why people moved to Cooper. That's why I moved to Cooper City many years ago. That's why they still move to Cooper City. And so over 600 people showed up at a meeting, parents, because they were like, you're not moving our kids to another city. We want our kids to go to school in Cooper City. And so 600 of them came out, and the school board, comes up with a couple of the school board members were sitting up on the stage. And there was a dad who stood up and he said, we voted you in and we will vote you out. And that was enough to make them go, oh, we can figure this out. We can do something else. Where everything, they over and over and over again told us, no, overcrowding in schools. We got all this, they come up with all the issues. They say I had all these issues. And it was like, no, you're not going to be able to stay. Well, all of a sudden, when they get reminded that, we put you in there, we take you out, all of a sudden they figured it out. So it does work, but it requires your voice to be heard. And this is a group of our partners in Tallahassee. And, one of the things I stress to them is that everybody has a unique story. Any of us sitting here, we can all come up with data and figures and how different things, the policy decisions of policymakers make, how they make a difference, but no two story is the same. And, I always tell them, when you watch the State of the State by the governor, or you watch, the presidential address, yes, they give their numbers, right? They always talk about the economy and, I don't know, world peace and whatever, right? But there's always people sitting up in the balcony, in the gallery up there, in both the State House and also in Washington. And the president, governor points up there and tells the stories of the individuals that are sitting there, because they know that is what impacts change, not only among the politicians that are sitting there, but the people who are watching at home. All right, so what do you need to be effective? Understanding the process, identifying policymakers, so they have to learn who their policymaker is. And I will tell you, I don't know what happens in civics class in school, because these are adults who come into this program. And when they apply, so on the application, it asks you like who your state senator is and who's your House member in the House of Representatives. I get so many emails that say, I don't know, where do I find that? Or they put Marco Rubio for their state senator. Well, Marco Rubio is a senator, but he goes to work in Washington. So there are so many people who they don't even know who they should talk to. They don't even know who, when they go vote, maybe they skip the box or they make a good guess. I don't know. But that is the world that we operate inside of. And so this program really kind of forced them to build relationships with their policymakers, their school board members, everybody who is making decisions. And it requires all of us to become engaged. Because like I said, they're going to make decisions. And if we're not part of it, then we can blame ourselves for what happens. So we talk about goal writing and engaging with others. And every year, I always have people in the program that don't necessarily get along. And it's funny because sometimes if I say that to, like, even Alexa might be sitting there thinking, wait, who didn't get along? There's always people who don't get along. And they come to me, I'm like the mom, and they come to me and she said, and he did this, and no. And so I tell them, and that's why you're here, because we need to learn how to communicate with others that we don't necessarily agree with everything. That is part of the process. It's part of working collaboratively and being able to affect change. If we hang out, we wait around for a group that believes everything that we believe in across the board in every facet of life, we're probably never going to find that. And I do believe that that's one of the reasons that when we talk about disabilities, we have all these silos. We got this group and that group and that group and all this stuff. It's like everybody's in their own compartment. And because when they come together, it's a beautiful thing. The Autism Society of Florida, we do an event every year on transition with the Gold Coast Down Syndrome group. That happened just last week. And Alexi was a huge part of that. And actually today is World Down Syndrome Day, in case you didn't know. And so working together makes so many more good and effective things happen. And that's what we talk about. And the last thing there, we focus on policy, not politics, because you know, you get wrapped up in that and it's a big fat mess. All right, so 3 A's of advocacy that we teach: awareness, advancement, and action. That's actually one of our partners there when we were in Tallahassee a couple of, before COVID, so right before COVID. And she was sitting with me, and this actually happened last week as well, but she was sitting with me and she said, "Can I get up and say something?" I said, "Of course." I just want you to look at those members of this, with a House of Representative group. That them all looking at her is so rare. That hardly happens. I don't know the last time you've been to a school board meeting, county commission meeting, a city council meeting, state legislative meeting, but it is rare that they all put their pens and their phones down and they look at the speaker. And they did that because she's a self-advocate. And she got up there and wanted to share her story, not statistics, but her personal story, and ask them to vote a certain way on a bill. And that is what happens when we go to them, because it does matter. You know, last week in Tallahassee, we actually had a couple of different politicians make a comment that said not only how much they appreciated us coming up there, but how much it mattered. How much it matters when you go meet with a school board member or your county commission or your mayor or whatever it might be. Because a lot of people these days, again, just want to write something on Facebook. All right, so here's our program for this year. It's going to start on September 8th. It's fully funded by the DD Council. And so that was established in 71. But next year, so when we start in September, that's going to be our 30th year for having a Florida Partners in Policymaking program. All right, so the council itself is made up of 29 members. They're all appointed by the governor. At least 60% of them are people with developmental disabilities. And there's also state agencies. So for instance, APD has a seat on that council as well. It is an international program. It is in, it's in the UK, it's in Australia, Japan, New Zealand, Germany, and I'm sure I'm missing a few more. And there's 45 states, and that kind of ebbs and flows a little bit. So some years there was a few that were struggling coming back from COVID, because of course we all had to go online for COVID. Some partners programs are normally online. We are not. We are face-to-face in person. We did go off for 2 years. We were online, but we are back in person. It is a leadership and advocacy training program. And it's really about making the lives of people with disabilities better, more effective. And I'm going to go over the topics in a minute. Okay, so it is not open to anybody who's interested. You have to be either an adult with a developmental disability or the direct, like the parent of, or you could be, for instance, you could be the sister of, but then you have to be responsible for the life of that person, basically their guardian. And so you can't be a sibling who doesn't even live with your sibling, kind of stuff. So for instance, I get lots of people who are providers, who are Medicaid waiver coordinators and therapists who want to join. Nope, not unless you are also a parent of a child with a developmental disability. And hopefully this, guys, I'm assuming that you know, because you guys seem like a pretty well-educated group, what a developmental disability is. It's not, for instance, ADHD. That's a medical diagnosis. That's not a developmental disability. Now, most kids with autism, for example, have ADD or ADHD. So if you have the autism, that's a developmental disability. So autism, Down syndrome, cerebral palsy, Prader-Willi syndromes, basically intellectual impairments, and there's no charge. So we are in Orlando, and the DD Council pays for your hotel room if you don't live in the area. So your hotel room, your travel to get there. If you have to hire a babysitter, if you're leaving your kids at home, they reimburse. So they're not paying your person up front. They're going to reimburse you for that. For people with disabilities, if you need a personal care assistant, they cover the cost of that as well. All right, so basically we come together for these sessions. Okay, so first of all, they're held in Orlando, so they're in person. And that picture there sort of gives you an idea of how the class is set up. We used to have 35 people in the class, but it has been reduced to 25. And that reason for that is because before COVID, when you got into the program, you shared a hotel room. And that was why we could go to 35. But because of COVID, we want to make sure that everybody is safe and, from sickness. I mean, even if somebody has a cold, I want a room with them if they have a cold. Everybody gets their own hotel room, but it's not a family event. They cannot bring their families, just for the person, because we literally, and I think I'll go into it in a minute, how much we work. So here are the session dates. All of this is on the website, and I'm going to give you the link in a bit, but if you could see the dates there of when we're going to be meeting. Because there she is again. So basically, it's just a group of people that are dedicated to making change in our communities across the state. That's actually Andy Gardner, as in the Gardner Scholarship in the middle. And so we were able to meet with him. That was just before he got out of politics, went on to other things. But partners were actually part of the creation of the Gardner Scholarship, which is now the Parent Empowerment Scholarship. Okay, so it was developed to train participants in best practices over a wide range of issues. Okay, that's more of that. All right, so here's some specifics. So that you have to commit to 6 two-day sessions. If you miss one, you're out. It is very, very, very specific. The council is very specific about that. And if you go through the program, you'll understand why you can't miss one, because it's a lot. We cover a lot in the time that we're together. So we start on the first day, we start at 12:30. That way gives everybody time to get there. Now, they will, if you live 300 miles or more away from Orlando, they will cover the cost to fly. Sometimes it takes an even longer time to fly, depending upon what kind of flights you get. So that could be a little crazy. Like my people from the Panhandle, they literally have to go to Atlanta to come to Orlando. So some don't mind, and some are like, forget it, I'll just drive. There are some accommodations that can be given. Like if somebody is coming from Pensacola, we can actually have them have 2 nights in the hotel, just because they'll frankly be worn out and exhausted by 12:30 on the first day. So anyway, we start at 12:30, and then we have dinner together, and we're back after dinner. It's usually 8:30 at night before we're done, sometimes even later. And then we're back at it at 9 a.m. and we have lunch and breaks and everything. And then we're out of there by 4 on the second day, and that's it. But it is 2 full days of work. There is homework. It usually takes between 2 and 4 hours. Some people are really fast with it, but for people who might need an accommodation, like maybe if the writing part is just too much for them, they can always talk to me, and I can sit, and we can kind of have their accommodation could be that they could do their homework verbally with me. So basically telling me what they had experienced, and each homework is different So I'm not going to get into it all, but it's not complicated. I tell them every year, it is not meant to make them crazy. It's just meant help to sort of supplement what we learned during class. And then there's a major project. The major project is not one that they do during the 6 months that they're with me. It's for after they graduate. And it could be something like mine was to do a training for parents in my community on the benefits of inclusive education. I had a girl a year ago in class where she has autism. She's a girl. She's a girl to me. She's like 21, 22. And she was working at a preschool center. So what her project was reading to the kids in the preschool center about the benefits of inclusive education and teaching them all about what it's like to be in school with kids who are maybe a little like you or maybe not like you, and what that's like. All right, so these are the things that they learn about. So the history of the disability rights movement, inclusive education, assistive technology. So for people who may not verbally communicate, how do we access technology? Supported and competitive employment, independent living, person-centered planning, community support, state and legislative processes, leadership development, and organizing for systems change. So as you can see, there's a lot that gets poured into the program. That's why we have to go such long days, because there is a lot that they learn while they're in it. And so this was just something, so that's Becky. She had graduated 5 or 6 years ago. And these were some of the things that she shared with me, that it really helped her get connected, learn how to speak up, educate and communicate on inclusion, quality education, accessible housing, supported employment, build positive relationships, like every year. And I tell them this when they come in, because they almost always, nobody knows each other. Every once in a while, there might be somebody who happens to, because the class, there is a selection committee. So there's a 7-member selection committee. I don't choose them. We will get over 100 applications. We always do. And 25 people get chosen. And so the selection committee, they have to, it's hard. I mean, they are wonderful for me, because they have to choose, they have to make sure that it is a diverse group. So diverse according to disability represented, region of the state, male, female, ethnicity. I'm sure I'm missing something, but they intentionally choose people from across the state. So it is rare that they know anybody else in the class. And I always tell them, you don't know anybody now, but by the end, you guys are going to be crying to me. You don't want it to end, because you're going to have formed relationships. And it happens every year. And a lot of people say, I found my tribe. I found my people. And there's an enormous amount of benefit in that. Learn how to impact local, state, and national policies, improve the lives of people, of course, and understand the strategies to support people to have their own homes across the lifespan. All right, so how do we get there? Through advocacy. So they could apply now. Like it says, there are 2-day sessions, reimbursements are provided. And, when they all come together and they work together, that's when we show that real things can change. So that's me. And what I'd like to do now is, Alexia has said that she could share a little bit about her experience. And also, Alexia, if you could speak to, because I think it kind of goes along with, let me get rid of that. All right, there we go. If you could speak to the project that you guys worked on and your mock testimony, because that really goes in line with what Carrie wanted me to talk about as well for transition. I think that would be beautiful.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm so excited to be here with you guys. I want to just start off with something that could be a little bit lighter. I am here. The real reason that Stacey asked me to be here is because there is one other thing that partners in policymaking is not, and that is ageist. They do not discriminate based on age. So I'm here to tell you that you can actually apply to partners. If you have gray hair like mine, you actually can apply to partners. If you have 4 kids at home that you homeschool, you actually can apply to partners. If you have to drive almost 4 hours to get there and leave your husband home with your kids, you actually can do that. And you can get through it, and you can have a life-altering experience like I did. I was so excited because I'm a huge movie fan, and I was so excited to see that Jamie Lee Curtis finally won an Academy Award, right? That was such an exciting moment. And the most interesting thing is that she has a little clip that's now going viral. And I thought it was such a perfect clip for today. And it was that she woke up, you know, at, well, in her case, in her 60s, but I woke up in my 50s, and she said, death wasn't even the thing that was worrisome for her. The thing that's worrisome for her was all this creativity she had inside of herself that she would not have used. And I think the same could be said as far as advocacy. You know, my daughter's 20, and I could maybe think to myself, you know, I've done all the advocacy I need to do. You know what I mean? I'm done here. And this process has shown me that is not true. If we continue to maintain a growth mindset in life, as somebody earlier had said, there's always learning to be had. And I think that this process showed me, I mean, yes, I wish that our capital was in the middle of the state, so it was a little closer for us to get to. But the reality is that you can actually get there, and you can actually make an appointment, and you can actually meet with your legislators, and you actually can walk into their office and have conversations about things that matter to you, your children, the people that your children are in community with. And sometimes when you advocate for something that's important to you and your child, and something changes, because the legislator's listening to you and they implement a bill and they pass legislation, it actually can benefit everybody else in the state. And that is a beautiful thing about what I was able to experience. Just to give you a little bit of a behind the scenes, one of the things that you're going to be asked to do is Stacey loves, I think she should get a sponsorship for partners from Post-it, but she is a huge Post-it fan. And so she buys the big Post-it papers and she sticks them along the wall. And there's going to be all these areas that you can kind of come together, and it's called a mock testimony. So ours, the one that I signed up to be on, was on the employment team. And so we came together. I mean, we had been together for about 3 or 4 months, but you're with people you just met. And as Stacey said, you know, people you might agree with on that topic, people you might not agree with on that topic. And you come together and you start to discuss what might be something that you might want to come together and form a testimony. And so it was interesting because earlier we had a presenter who presented on something. Her name is Karen Filippo, and she talked about the low unemployment numbers in the state of Florida. And one of the things she brought up was the fact that there was this national certification that can happen, and that job counselors can actually get certified to be able to work with their clients that are looking for jobs. And it was interesting because we kind of put together that those low numbers might be tied to the fact that we do not have that certification mandate in the state of Florida. So out of the over 3,000 certified specialists in the United States, we only have 4 certified specialists here in Florida. And so we said that's going to be our issue. So we came together, we worked together as a team. There was 5 of us on our team. We worked with our statewide APSI group, our Employment First group. We also worked with national, and we kind of developed something that we were able to present. And at that presentation, we are asked to invite our legislators, and we did. We had them they come on, they can be in person or on Zoom. And interestingly enough, after we presented, we had a state legislator who was interested in what we had talked about and had asked if we would bring an appropriations request for what we presented on. And that was kind of mind-boggling. As I said, it moved it out of the mock into the real in my mind, and said, okay, we struck a nerve here, right? We piqued someone's interest. And then because we have this great opportunity that FCDC offers, which our graduates are invited to come to DD Day, we were able to make an appointment with that senator. We were able to go and present. And the interesting thing is that that senator happened to be in committee on Tuesday, and we were told, don't worry, it's okay. Sometimes you're going to meet with their aides, and meeting with their aides is still really important, sometimes even more important, because they have the listening ear of the senator. And the cool thing is that we came in, our team, and we presented on what we had presented on, and there was a lot of interest in us now being at the beginning of the year to work through this and perhaps present it as an appropriations request for next cycle. But the most beautiful thing was that at the end of the whole presentation, we had an aide who, as Stacey said, in my case, he seemed like a boy, but he was probably 19 years old. And he just sat there and he was so gracious and he was listening to us, and we're like, oh my gosh, is this the right person? Is this the person we were supposed to be presenting to? And at the end of it, he said, thank you so much for presenting. I just want to let you guys know that it means a lot to me that you guys are here and what you presented on. I will definitely let the legislator know, the senator know. And he said, and I just want you to know that I have a personal connection to this because my mom is a special ed teacher. And that was the best moment for us, to just see that there was somebody in the room who got it, who's lived that experience, and that now he was going to ensure that this communication, what we had presented about the possibility of this not only being an appropriations request, maybe become something that's mandated, will get to the senator, and that there will be further discussion. So that's a little bit about my experience. I'm really grateful for it. I've learned so much, especially just those steps that one can take, whether you're a nonprofit, whether you are just a parent. There are so many ways that we need systems change in the state of Florida, and this is a great opportunity if you are a parent or a self-advocate to be able to get that training and be able to utilize what you've learned to affect change.
Yeah, and I was listening when you guys were introducing yourselves that there were some of you who work with families of young children. And we had a dad in the class, and I want to say Tony's daughter's 18 months, right, Alexei? So and we had one right before COVID. It was a dad, and his daughter was 4 months old. It was really baby. And of course the beauty, woulda, coulda. I wish I would have known about that when my son was very young, because while like I said, it's not an IEP training, because that's what I do for a living. I'm able to help them. And so a lot of the partners, they might not get that specific training in the meeting, but that's why I'm there. So I help them as well. So if you have families, the young ones, just think about the impact that you can have on their lives if they become part of a program when their children are so young. And it was interesting. I like how, Alexei, thank you for bringing up the age factor. We had a mom, I don't remember if it was I think it was the first COVID year that we were online. And she was, I'll give a ballpark of 65. Her son was 40, 42. And we actually use her quotes in some of the material, because she said, she would cry sometimes in our sessions because she could not believe that at her age that she was learning so much. And she tells everybody it's never too late. That, yeah, maybe my son's in his 40s, but that doesn't mean that I can't help him make better choices now in where he lives and how he gets support. And, she's the woman who's closer to the end than she is to the beginning. So she came into class really scared for him as she was getting older, but came out of the class feeling so much better and feeling like he was going to be okay, because she was still able to learn so much in order to prepare life for him after she's no longer here. So I know I didn't cover much about transition, but I would imagine that we're running out of time because I can go ranting on about a million different subjects.
We'll have you back, Stacey. Don't worry. You'll wear a different hat each time.
I'm glad to be here. Thank you all so much. And
Yeah.
like I said, you can contact me. I'm easy to find on social media. It's just my name. So you can find me there as well. But if you have, look on Facebook, because I did post just today a really short video. So you can, if you want to share that with anybody that you know. And if you meet the criteria, of course, it would be wonderful for you to apply as well.
Thank you. Maria just put a comment in the chat. It was a beautiful presentation. And so if any families are interested in learning more about the process, of course, connect them with Stacey. She has lots and lots of families that would attest to, what their experiences were like, and could explain more from a parent perspective, in addition to Stacey's, of course. So does anybody else have any questions? A wealth of information today. All right, we will all digest, and then I'm sure we'll connect offline. Thank you so much. We appreciate your time, Stacey and Alexi, and we look forward to meeting you all in the next SNAC meeting next month. If I say this every month, but if anybody has any ideas for topics or would like to present, please shoot us an email and we'd be happy to facilitate that. So, all right, thank you all and have a great afternoon. Bye, everyone.